Yes, we are going to talk about the Washington, D.C. sandwich thrower. This guy is looking to possibly get 8 years with his federal felony conviction for throwing a Subway sandwich at a police officer. What should we call this? Assault with a deli weapon? But I want to talk about this because it seems the Trump administration has screwed up priorities. Because while the sandwich thrower is going to be thrown in jail, and let me just show you, in case you're not aware of what's going on, let me just show you what this guy did. Yeah, this guy is a fool. It was a dumb thing that he did, but 8 years for throwing a sandwich at a police officer. And it should be noted that at this point in this guy's life, he was a DOJ employee.
He cooked him!
Later, they went to the guy's house. I'm just going to play this with the music off. They raided this man's house, went to his apartment. Look at all these armed, militarized individuals going over there. He admits he threw the sandwich. He's not apologizing for throwing the sandwich. They raid this guy. Now he's up for federal felony assault charges and could go to jail for 8 years. Here's Megyn Kelly talking about this.
There was an attack with a Subway sandwich last night in D.C. And it was a white guy, we're now told, who worked at the Department of Justice until this morning when he was fired by Pam Bondi, per Pam Bondi. She's told us that piece of it. But we saw this tape go viral on X.
It's kind of amazing that the DOJ would actually employ somebody who doesn't quite have all the mental faculties, it appears.
With this guy behaving like a complete ass in the face of the federal law enforcement officers who are standing there minding their own business, just keeping an eye on things to make sure things are safe. For the listening audience, we're going to play it. You see the man jumping up, like just jumping, like he's on a pogo stick in front of these cops. And then out of nowhere, he takes his Subway sandwich and whips it at one of the officers. The man is wearing a pink polo shirt and tight little gray shorts. He whips it at the officer and then takes off. And now the officers chase him, and they did get him. And then we heard from Jeanine Pirro, who is, look at this slow-mo now. We've slow-moed he really whips it at him. It hits him in like the collarbone on the left side, and immediately they give chase. So then we hear from Jeanine Pirro, who's honestly, there's a new sheriff in town down there. Do not F with Judge Jeanine. Here's Jeanine weighing in on this.
And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers and started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there. Stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
So, sandwich thrower charges, 1. Epstein client list, billionaires, 0. Still to this day. And then there was this other incident that just happened in Nevada, but I'll go over that in a second. But what we have here is misplaced priorities, it seems. You're jailing somebody like that who did something that appears so minor that didn't hurt anybody. Yeah, stupid move. What do you expect to happen? And deploy all those resources on that guy, but you're not going to deploy resources on a guy like this. MAGA erupts after Israeli official charged in child you-know-what ring flees the U.S. Check this out. MAGA is pushing the Trump administration to explain why an Israeli official who was arrested in an undercover you-know-what sting in Nevada was allowed to leave the U.S. after posting bail. This is wild. The outrage marks the latest fissure between Israel and MAGA, which already faces a generational divide over how much the U.S. should support Israel amid the war and humanitarian crisis in Gaza. This guy named Tom Alexandrovich, a senior Israeli cybersecurity official, is he going to be treated with kid gloves? Will he be given special treatment by the DOJ? Arrested during an undercover operation in Nevada targeting child you-know-what predators, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department announced on Friday. Alexandrovich posted a $10,000 bail without appearing before a judge and quickly fled to Israel, raising questions about why his passport was not confiscated. Who controls the DOJ? Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that the handling of this case was standard, and the State Department denied that the U.S. government intervened. But acting U.S. Attorney Sigal Chattah, whose jurisdiction covers Nevada, posted on social media, quote, "The individual who fled our country should have had his passport seized by the state authorities. He must be returned immediately to face justice. I think most people agree." Chattah said that Attorney General Pam Bondi was outraged and placed calls to both her and FBI Director Kash Patel. MAGA influencers are up in arms demanding the Trump administration push Israel for Alexandrovich's swift extradition to the U.S. to stand trial. This is what Jack Posobiec says. DOJ should file federal charges and demand immediate extradition. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey also posted about the case. Tucker Carlson wrote, "What is going on here? Why would the United States allow a foreign government official charged with a child you-know-what crime to avoid prosecution? That is a good question." You know, there are people who have done far less than this guy, and they weren't even afforded the opportunity to post bail. Candace Owens says the U.S. Attorney General who released him is Israeli-born Sigal Chattah. Makes sense now. Chattah's office didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on the backlash. Axios says parts of MAGA's base have long obsessed over the deep state, which originally referred to a supposed cabal of pedophilic elites who control the government. It kind of seems like that's what's going on. Axios further says a slice of the far right also promotes anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about Israel and Jews secretly pulling the strings in Washington. Find out how many of those 12,000 lobbyists represent Israel. Find out how many congressmen and senators that AIPAC, you know what that stands for, owns. And you'll come to a conclusion pretty quickly that that's probably spot on. Those two threads intersect with the case of Jeffrey Epstein, who some conspiracy theorists allege was an Israeli intelligence asset who used his underage you-know-what trafficking ring to blackmail global elites. And blackmail is exactly what looks like is being leveraged right here. Because when you go after a guy who threw a sandwich at a police officer with such fervency, but you continually lie about the Jeffrey Epstein tapes, the transcripts, the documents, the cell that was actually recorded in that video that they gave us, that bogus video, it kind of makes the average person wonder what's going on, whose side is this government playing for, and how come all these guys who are doing all this bad stuff to kids are getting away scot-free. So what's worse, assault with a deadly weapon, or a guy boarding a plane to another country after he was caught in a child you-know-what sting? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. But I want to hear from you. If you support MAGA, what do you think about this treatment of, or lack of treatment, for people who do bad things to children? I will see you in the next video.